Welcome to the Warren Cycling Podcast. My name is Dean Warren. I'm in Milan, Italy today.
And I'm Randy Warren, and I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah, and we are getting ready to talk about a lot of the Tour de France, but not quite yet. Today is the 18th.
17th.
Is it 17th?
Yeah.
I'm losing it. I flew yesterday from Lisbon to New York, arrived, and then I left that a few hours later and flew to Milan. So.
Oh, you didn't go to Atlanta? You got a flight from New York?
No, I got to fly out of New York. Yeah, so I was only in the United States for a few hours, and back in Europe, and I'm starting to fade. But okay, so it's June 17th, Warren Cycling Podcast episode must be about 359.
Well,
and
it's 58 to 59.
We've got a wrap up of some of the weekend racing, national championships coming up. But if it's the 17th, that was said 12 days then, 12 days from now, start of the Tour de France. So we'll probably, I hope we get together before the start to kind of see who is actually racing, because it's not set yet. Especially the biggest question marks are with Jumbo. With the Visma Lease bike. And
even Ineos, though, Bernal's hoping to get a ride. He doesn't know yet.
Yeah, Nielsen Paulus is hoping to get a ride for EF Education too. So lots of question marks.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty solid, but then he did drop out of the Dauphiné, right? So
Dauphiné, yeah. Well, even Sepp Kuss, okay, so there's a picture. No, but there's a picture that just came out from the Visma Lease bike camp that's going on with Matteo Jorgensen. I think maybe it was his Instagram, but it had 6 of the riders that looked like would be 6 riders on the roster. So the only other ones would be Sepp Kuss.
Sepp's not there. Oh
no, he's not there. But and also then I think I read that he's just putting up like some easy rides. Like they hadn't had anything on Strava. So and the ride that was posted that Wout van Aert and Jonas Vingegaard, I think they both, it looked like they all did this ride. It was like over 5,000 meters climbing ride, 7-hour ride. So like this huge ride. So so it gave a positive indication that it looked like both Wout van Aert and Jonas Vingegaard would be starting the Tour.
I think that there's almost a higher probability of Sepp riding if Jonas rides than if not. Because you'd think it'd be the other way around, like Sepp would be the leader, so he's guaranteed to ride if Jonas isn't. But if Sepp isn't 100% right now, then they may not be able to count him as the outright leader, but they can always count on him to be there in the high mountains, even if not at the very first. It's not the high mountains in the beginning, but but at some point when they get to the high mountains, Sepp will do whatever it takes to be able to be there for those stages, to be a huge helper and potential stage winner. But I think that even if he's off a little bit at this point, he can probably ride himself hopefully into health, and hopefully he's healthy going in the beginning.
Let's hope so. Yeah, I think it would have been fun to have seen Sepp leading the charge and riding high into the mountains, those last 3 mountain stages at the Dauphiné, when he would be supporting Matteo Jorgensen, who was phenomenal.
Well, we thought at that point, right, Matteo would be supporting him, Sepp, at that point, even though he had a better time trial. But still, Sepp clearly seemed like the better climber, but Matteo climbed out of his mind. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully, Sepp is just. What have you heard? I've heard that maybe he's recovering from some illness. Is what I've heard.
Yes, same thing. So, and it's a 3-week race, and if he's not, counting on riding as a rider that would be riding for the GC for the overall, then he doesn't have to be as top form at the beginning of the race. So
the first couple of stages are really hard, so we'll know right away if he's in good shape and going for a potential GC spot. Because even if Jonas is there, they might want to keep Sepp in the high up in the standings, because Jonas might not be able to stand the whole 3 weeks. But you could easily lose time those first couple of days, and if you do, it's gonna be really hard to make that time back up.
So it looked like UAE dominated so much of the Tour de Suisse, and those riders are going to be riding in support of Tadej Pogacar, who so much dominated the Giro and didn't have a big crash earlier this year. Yeah. And so it looks so much promising now.
Stage wins with them trading him off. Yeah, they're actually negotiating as they get to the line who's going to win today, right?
Adam Yates and Almeida won 4 stages in a row. It's crazy. And Yeah, Adam Yates. He rode to the podium last year at the Tour.
Yes. He started
Um,
out strong. I mean, he started out yellow jersey. Everybody thought, well, he's going to drop back and not really be in the mix because he's going to be supporting, Tadej so much. But no, he rode a great race. This was only his second UCI stage race win, I think they said. So.
Oh, this race at the Tour of Swiss?
Yeah, yeah. So Simon won, the Giro, but
Simon won the Vuelta.
Volta.
He was leading the
Oh, leading the
Giro.
Giro, lost the last day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
right. Was it Chris
he
Froome
lost.
that took?
Yeah, not the last day, but towards the end. Yeah.
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 Yeah, so Simon's won one Grand Tour, but I think
Adams
Adam
won a
said
lot
this
of
is-
other stage races. Just
Yeah, but I think it's only UCI week-long
Well-
stage race. The second one, I think they
because
said.
he won the UAE Tour, he won the Deutschland Tour. I know.
Deutschland's not a week. Yeah, I mean that was
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what they said the defining characteristic of it was, but I thought it was.
Oh, he won the Tour of Romandy last year too. He beat Matteo Jorgensen. So.
Yeah, he won yeah, right. Last year, Montreal just won one race. Yeah.
He's got a lot of big wins. Adam Yates.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah.
Quality wins.
Catalonia. But that Catalonia is only what 4 days too. It's not the whole.
No, it's 6 days, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not sure what the.
Yeah. Anyway, it could be though, depending on how Jonas is riding, how Evenepoel is riding, what happens to Roglic, who's probably going to be riding pretty well, but he just barely won the Dauphiné.
Right. He didn't dominate for sure.
Yeah, I mean UAE, they could be like 1, 2, 3. He could be like
theoretically, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unlikely, but it could be possibly.
No.
And they're loaded with future talent too, with Ayuso and they've got
Isaac Del Toro.
Del Toro too, yeah, right. Yeah. So they've got 5 Grand Tour contenders, maybe in at least present or future, so that's pretty good. Of course, last year at this point, everybody thought that was with what Visma bike had too, and now they're scrambling to find a leader for the Tour. So fortunes can change.
It can change, yeah. It can change quickly. I wonder if Matthew Pizzatello, who wrote such a great race, Tour de Swiss, got 5th overall.
And
it's right up there.
His worst stage was the short climbing stage. I think he needs it to be longer. He did way better after that. So yeah, he suffered more. I think the short day was only 43K or something like that, some crazy thing with one big climb. A lot of downhill and one climb at the end. And yeah, that was his worst climbing stage. And his time trial, he did great too. Was he 5th in time trial? Something like that.
So.
Yeah.
4th, 5th, yeah.
He was really good. Maybe 4th. Yeah, maybe even 4th. Yeah.
I think I mean it's totally different because Isaac Del Toro, who beat Matthew last year in the L'Avenir, Tour de l'Avenir, and Del Toro was on domestic duty, so he wouldn't be up there as well. But Riccatello definitely finished higher than although Isaac finished pretty well for a domestique helper too overall. So
I know you look at Israel. Israel Premier Tech, their roster going into the Tour, Woods is not doing it, right? And we don't know if Froome's doing it or not, but he's not really a GC contender. Who is their GC guy? Is it maybe Riccatello? I don't know.
Well, yeah, if he goes, I watched the GCN wrap-up weekend wrap-up show today, and they questioned like, well, he's not slated to go to the Tour, but it would be nice to see him.
He's the Volta right now, so that's his upcoming races shows the Volta. So
yeah,
but still, after he rode so well in the Tour de Suisse, and they really don't have a clear GC person, right? I mean, is Derek Guy going for him?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe he might be.
And he rode great GC at the but that was a revelation. I mean,
he did a really strong Giro last year too, but not for the GC.
Yeah,
but stage.
A bunch of it's different.
I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite in a way because UAE has, like you said, they could fill the podium. Whereas Primatech's looking for anybody who could be top 10, maybe top 5, and so it's a totally different. It's similar but totally different ambitions for either program. Like you got a couple guys that maybe got top 10, or a bunch of guys who could get all top 3.
And then besides the top 3 for UAE, I mean, right up there with them is Juan Ayuso,
Yeah.
who crashed recently at Dauphiny, so he didn't finish that. But Mark Soler and Paolo Sivakov are great racers too that are going to be supporting as well.
Yeah.
And then Tim Wellens and Niels Pollitt. I mean, phew,
It's a strong team. Yeah.
yeah,
And,
super
and
strong
a couple
team.
years ago, it was not such a. They've done a good job of fortifying themselves with supreme talent, really. So
Yeah, and they've got what, like 42 wins this year so far. I think they're pretty far ahead. Little Trucks got a lot. I think. Oh, did you see the Blaze Belgian tour? Tim Miller,
oh,
Jesper Philipsen were spring. I mean, it looked like Miller. He was the fastest.
but they split up they split up
He got two.
so,
Philipsen got one, but Miller was kind of boxed in. I guess that's how that one went. But Miller probably won't do the tour because Soudal Quickstep's all in for Remco Evenepoel. They don't have room for him. So, and then Jasper Philipsen will have
well,
like the best lead out ever if he has Matteo Van der Poel leading him out. So
yeah. And I think Miller though they're also thinking he's moving on. He's not going to be there next year too. So there's already rumors.
yeah, that's typical Soudal Quickstep.
Quick step, right?
They have
All the big
great
sprinters do
sprinters, and they only like
right.
a couple of
They
years
all
and
do
they're
great,
gone.
and they
Yeah,
leave. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think Bahrain victorious too. I mean, Bilbao's been riding really
Oh,
strong.
real well, sure.
So, and then Fred Wright actually he rode well in the Tour of Swiss too. I think they're actually riding decently well as a team right now too. I think no matter what, the Tour is always going to be exciting because
Oh yeah,
especially with racing now. Yeah.
everyone's at their best shape for the year.
Yeah, they're all targeting it
It's
and
racing it. Yeah.
yeah. But what Bilbao just won a stage too. I was watching did you watch any of the Netflix series, the Unchained
The
with the new
second,
yeah, the second season. Yeah.
yeah, I read about it. So actually, I haven't seen any.
Oh, okay.
I
I
never
watched
saw the first season.
I watched the whole first season. They make it much more dramatic for the
Right.
non-cycling fans.
Yeah.
And as a cycling fan, we find more drama, I think, in the actual race than what they're trying to do. At least for me, I kind of have to pick through the drama they're trying to create, But
Yeah.
it is interesting. It's interesting to see the side of it. But I just think too, as a non-cycling fan, you're not getting a real view of the tour in my mind. Like you don't see all the dynamics of the racing so much. You see they're trying to put the personalities and the dynamics pitting people against people, not just, each rider against the race, but each person against a personality and stuff too. So
Yeah. I guess Tom Pitcock stars in that for the second series, and I think
oh, he's not.
episode 5.
Oh
Have you
yeah,
seen
I'm only
5 yet? Okay.
no. I think
I
I've
think
four.
Pitcock.
Four.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, he's a little bit of a wild one there, I guess. Wild card for Ineos. His own
Yeah.
ambitions versus Carlos Rodriguez, who's riding really well too, and Egan Bernal is still getting better. Still not at the very top where he was before, or
No,
his top now. But even his top where he was before, I don't know if he can compete with like Vingegaard and Pogacar at their top. So
yeah, maybe he was pretty dominant that year, but
yeah,
yeah, you never know. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, Ineos is an interesting team. I mean, on the preliminary list has Geraint Thomas on the list too, which
right. No, he's gonna race.
former Grand Tour winner, and and then Pidcock, and then Rodriguez, and then Bernal.
Kwiatkowski is always good.
Kwiatkowski's gonna be there too, yeah. And then DePluce, who's been riding really well too. DePluce has been crushed it on the climbs, basically leading through the bottom parts and stuff. Their team is very interesting. It's a very strong team, but not any one person who can
No,
really
not
compete.
anyone that can really be up there for the GC
Yeah.
against the competition they're going and to get a
And then it's
stage
tough for
win too.
them, right? But it's tough for them too because like Ben Healy just won the final stage of what? What did he say?
For Tour of Slovenia.
Slovenia, yeah. So he's great to have because he can win those stages. When you think about it, Pidcock, Thomas, Rodriguez, Kwiatkowski, Bernal, DePluce, maybe all those guys could be stage hunters for sure, right? I mean, they all have a real potential to win.
Yeah.
But will a team put them in that position to win stages? I mean, if they're really going to go all in for Rodriguez maybe to win, the GC, then kind of hamper. And Pidcock said straight out that he's going to go for stage wins. He's not going to, he's not, and actually maybe even a GC if he's riding well enough to do GC, and if not, then he'll go for stage wins. So he's kind of said he's not going to be the 100% team player. You know, I don't think they would take him if he would be not at all a team player. I think they'll count on him to fulfill a certain role, but also then go rogue when he feels like he can do it too. So yeah.
Well, yeah, it's always makes, have some drama like that helps media attention.
Right, and that's the kind of thing
It
that
fuels the
Netflix.
Netflix.
Right, exactly. The season 3 will be playing up as much as possible. So, because they actually had to with so Ajay Dejere, they were Ben O'Connor against Felix Gall, so they were pitting them against each other basically. Saying that O'Connor was the team leader, and then he had a couple bad stages, and so they sat down with him and they said, "All right, Felix, you're it," and then they try to make us feel like, oh, Ben, now he can relax. He doesn't be so on edge, and no, he's GC guy. He doesn't want to, he's not going to relax more. But yeah, they definitely try to play up a lot of that kind of internal
Imagine though if Netflix had been around, for Le Mans and Hinault. I mean,
Oh, Lord.
that would have been.
They wouldn't need to make up anything.
No, and they are same for Contador and Lance Armstrong.
Oh Lord, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are crazy years. Crazy years for sure.
So.
Yeah, or even Stephen Roche when he was in the Giros, he and who else was in one English speaker that was racing basically against all the Italians. They were fighting against him. So yeah, there's been lots of that happening in the past.
Yeah.
Sure.
Feeding off that. Well, we're kind of touching on a little bit of everything, but that's normally how we do it anyway. The pictures I was in Bellagio today. I came to Milan. Wasn't going to do a lot. Then I thought, last time I tried to go to Lake Como. Well, I went to Lake Como, but couldn't get down the right ferry to get up to Bellagio. I thought, I need to get up to Bellagio. And I read about this place that has the flying bicycles. They call it the flying bicycles on these old bicycles up on the houses, this house. And I even asked this one lady at this garden place I went in about, and at first she didn't know what I was talking about, but then I explained, then she realized what it was. So it told me, keep walking San Giovanni, this little further, a little town, and on a small street. So I found it. So that's where I am. Italy's got so rich in cycling history, and I was reading about things to do in Bellagio, and one of the things is to go up to do the climb up to the chapel that has the cycling museum that's in the Tour, Lombardy. That climb up to Chicaz, what is it called? Yeah, and I'm gonna butcher
I know what
it
you're talking
all.
about, but I don't know what it is. Yeah.
And there's a little museum, but that's like I'm like, I need to go back and get up there now too. So, and then you've got two women celebrating behind you, Cassie and Neodoma at Canyon Ram, along with Nevi, the Australian winning her first race.
Yeah.
At the Tour de Suisse, which is going on for the women now. Demi Follering looks like she's in the driver's seat. But
I looked it up real quick. La Madonna del Gasallo.
Yeah.
So that's the name of the chapel on the top of the hill that's outside of Lake Como.
Right. Yeah. So
that's a place by Pope Pius XII in 1949. So it's official.
Yeah. So it's Nevi Bradbury got her first professional win.
Yeah.
22-year-old.
They attacked with 102K to go.
Not Neodoma though. She came over, I think.
Right. She came over, yeah. But Bradbury.
But then they got away. Yeah.
Yeah, they got away in the last climb. And apparently it sounded like Neodoma towed her, but led her up and down the climb, the descent, and then gifted her the finish, to get her first win.
Right, but she didn't zip. Wait, Neodoma's not zipped up all the way. Bradbury. But the other day, I was watching when Adam Yates and Joe Almeida was coming across. Adam Yates zipped up, and Joe Almeida, he wasn't all the way zipped up. I mean, but he's such a nice. He did it afterwards, after they had it in slow motion. But yeah, it's important for that picture and for the advertising and for the UAE not to be you kind of. So
yeah. And they definitely weren't pressured. They didn't win by that much. I think just like 13, 14 seconds, but it was a comfortable 13, 14 seconds. So yeah. Yeah, they controlled the race for sure. It was great. I didn't see the end of that one, but I saw the day before when Almeida took it, and Yates attacked, and then Almeida bridged up to him without bringing the two
Right.
other guys with him, and so that was a really good move. And then dropped Yates at the end. So it was they played it really well.
Yeah, Mateus Gelmozo, who finished third
Oh,
overall
we won
and
last year.
won last year, and he was over 3 minutes behind. So
Yeah, he had a good time trial. Basically, that saved it for him because Bernal was on the podium at that point, and then Skelmolson took it over with a good time trial. And Bernal's time trial was not.
right, he's
Yeah,
put
it's
in
good.
some good time trials before,
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's ironic too because when he crashed, his life-threatening crash that derailed his career was in the time
time
trial
trial.
bike
Yeah.
running into the back of a bus because he couldn't see it. So yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But yeah,
Riley Sheehan got fourth in one of the stages that believes that it was an uphill stage.
yeah,
He continues to put in some impressive racing.
yeah, yeah. I know there's a lot of young. And speaking of young guys too, I raced this last weekend in Southeast Gravel Series in Clinton, South Carolina. Super hot. And Enzo and George Hincapie were there. And they took first and second place.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. I should have posted a picture of it. I took a picture of the podium real quick, but it was kind of far back and they had like a lot of people in front of it but you could see everybody clearly. But yeah, I saw George, everybody it was hot and I didn't have a hydro pack. I was the only person, one of the only people that didn't have hydro packs.
Yeah, but
And I
you
was
got second.
in my age group
Yeah.
to the British national champion. I thought I won because we knew all the people who thought were 60 plus, and I barely won. Actually, the guy who's won, Tim Versati, a good friend of mine who's won all the races so far this series, he was with us, but he's recovering from a crash at Unbound, and he doesn't not a super strong sprint finisher. So, but this other guy, Michael, who's this really super strong guy from Charlotte, he sat in the back of our group the whole time, and he attacked with about a kilometer to go. And I was expecting him to attack. Tim didn't even know he was in there with us because he was sitting in the back the whole time. And then I chased him then, and I just barely beat him. I think I wouldn't have had to do a bike throw to beat him. I think I would have beat him anyway, but I did do a big bike throw just in case. And I thought, oh, great. I had to work so hard to do that. I thought, well, that's fantastic. So I finally got a win because I've only done a couple of the Southeast gravel races so far, and I've gotten second and third. I have not won one yet. And so I thought, well, good, I finally got my win. And then afterwards, someone said, no, some guy beat you. I'm like, who? Is it somebody we know? And they're like, no, nobody we know. I'm like, listen, we know every 60 plus guy nationally pretty much who would be, as this was Tim, I think, telling me, in our league, So we know who is this guy? Did he actually win or is it a mistake? Well, it ends up he's not national. He's from Great Britain.
International, yeah.
International, yeah. Yeah, and he's going to be at the Belgium Waffle Ride, too, this weekend coming up, too. So we'll have to contend with him there as well. So
all right,
we'll see.
good.
But
always good to have competition. So George and Enzo.
When George came up by me towards the beginning, I was at the very front, and he was not wearing a hydro pack as well, and Enzo wasn't either. But them and myself are the one of those. There's only a few of us that weren't wearing hydro packs, and George came by, and I'm like, hey George, and Enzo was wearing his Stars and Stripes kit, which he's not gravel national champion, but it's not a USA cycling race, so it doesn't matter. He is a junior national champion in the road race, so. But yeah, they rode really strongly. I think they finished like a minute up on third place, the two of them. So
I think I saw the only Canadian gravel qualifier was won by Ashland Berry.
Oh, really?
He won in the Met as a Met, the elite.
As a senior
pro. Yeah, as a senior. Right? He's only 16. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one I did last year. So I did the only Canadian one last year. So it's a good course. He's got not any extended climbs, but some short, punchy climbs, yeah, it was a solid course. But yeah, he has dual citizenship, although he races for the U.S. But yeah, it's so. I wonder if he'll want to go to Gravel Worlds. I mean, maybe be interesting to see.
For sure.
Because if he does, it's a UCI race, and he would do it as a junior. So yeah. Interesting. Right. But it's fun to race with George too, and Enzo, and both of them actually in the same race too. There's not many races that you get to do that, at this point in time. I think Enzo's only at 3 though still, maybe the 2 now. He's moving up through the ranks, but again, he's so young. And he does do the senior races, so maybe he's a 2 now. And George, I guess, would do the same thing. But anyway, it's just fun to race with guys who are, the future of cycling and the past of cycling all there
Yeah.
together in a regional race.
Are they gonna both do the Belgian waffle ride?
I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't talk to him afterwards.
Uh,
Yeah, that's a much different animal too. I mean, the race was 74 miles with like a little under 3,000 feet of climbing this last week, and it was in the 90s because it's in South Carolina. And this next week's 116 miles with over 10,000 feet of climbing, like maybe 11,000 feet of climbing in the mountains. So, but not the high mountains. So it would be a lot longer. Everybody was hurting so badly on Saturday too because it was so hot. Actually, a friend of mine did Belgian waffle ride, or no, did Unbound the week before or 2 weeks before, and he said that this race was harder. The 74 miles was harder than the 200 miles of Unbound, mostly because of the heat though. So it was a hard race. But yeah, the future though, it's fun to race.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna make it shorter today because I'm tired.
Yeah, I got it. Stuff. Yeah. We always have stuff to
Yeah.
do, but it's fun to do though. I wanted to do it too, just because this is now. I mean, like you said, the national championships come up, but they're not going to race against the same kind of competition that they just raced at the Tour of Swiss or the Dauphiné. So the two biggest prep races have happened, and now it's almost all about the Tour. And I think that obviously the timing is not a mistake when the Netflix series comes out now, and you could watch all this. I think it was like 7 episodes. You could watch them all back to back. I think they released them all at the same time. But I'm watching I was watching one per day, but I'm not quite at that pace now. But I'll get through them all, I think, before the Tour, and it just builds that excitement for sure.
Yeah. And you see, like, the Velo Tour guide has been released. I don't know if it's still coming in the mail.
You can buy it. I mean, I'm a subscriber to Outside, and I got an offer to buy it.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to get it.
Usually it comes out, and it's too early, especially this year.
Yeah.
Who's gonna go? As far as like looking at the racers and how they're, how they're doing. I think the best part about the guide is to maybe just to look at in pictures the stages.
Yeah, me too.
And the profiles. That's maybe that's our oldness of us. We still like maps and pictures and magazines that you don't see much, but to see the.
Well, they also talk about like the stage and who might do well on that stage too. Because you might look at it and say, oh, it's a climber stage, so it's going to be GC. But they'll be like, no, it's not, because of what happened yesterday or the day before. They'll give you some insight in terms of what they think, how that stage might play out too, which I think is kind of fun. And you get to look at the map and.
Yeah, because don't they usually have some pretty famous former cyclists giving their opinions on who they think it will be good for? I think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Andy Hood's pretty good though. I mean,
he's great. But,
yeah. If he's given an opinion on it, I trust Andy. He's a very experienced journalist
right?
Pretty knows a lot of stuff for sure. Yeah.
Right. Well,
have you seen the birthday list?
Yeah, I was just looking at it. I was like, wow, we hit the jackpot today.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wonder if 53,487 PCS points is the highest of anybody.
It has to be. I've never seen a number anywhere close to that.
Yeah.
10,000 is rare to see.
Right.
53,000.
Second place is 15,751.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Eddie Merckx, of course, 79 years old.
Eddie Merckx, 79 today. And I better get the date right then, June 17th.
June 17th. Yep.
Yeah, just 2 days after my birthday. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not quite 79 though. Wow, 79 Eddie Merckx. So we could talk a whole podcast of everything that he's won.
Yeah, 74 kilograms though too. We talked about that a podcast ago. Yeah. So, and 1.82.
Yeah, because we were like looking at Matteo Jorgensen, keep saying I'm, too big a guy to be up in those mountains to do that well. And then, we were talking last time about how Bradley Wiggins and also Miguel Indurain were able to take bigger size frames and turn them into Grand Tour winners. Yeah.
Eddie Merckx too. Bigger size frame for sure, and yet won everything. So
he wouldn't win everything now though. I don't think.
Well, it's different racing.
Yeah.
But the team was all for him. He didn't give wins to his teammates, and they raced differently. Yeah. They didn't, they came into the season all not in as good a shape and worked their way into shape. So he could win Milan San Remo not in his best shape, or now if you're in Lance Remo and not at your best shape, you're going to have a hard time being competitive. So yeah, it is different for sure.
But also he had injuries, he got a couple of injuries
Yeah.
early on that really kind of slowed him down. He still won tons after that, but he might not have really had a whole career at his very best from
Oh,
the
for sure. Early in
beginning.
his career, he had that
Not
dirty
at all.
crash. Yeah, where he hurt his back seriously
Yeah.
right behind a motorcycle
So
crash, and his driver died in that crash. It was a very serious crash.
yeah.
And then in the tour, his last tour that he was winning, got punched in the stomach, and then that hurt him pretty severely too. So yeah, he had. You're right. It's unusual to have someone go through without any serious injuries, and he certainly had his share. But still,
Right.
like you said,
And was still so so
yeah,
dominant. Yeah. So
yeah.
Adri Vanderpool.
Oh yeah.
I mean, otherwise he would have been
Oh, for sure.
like you said, 15,000, like super high point total, but he's sharing the same birthday as Eddie Merckx, so he's number 2
Yeah.
on the list. Yeah.
And his pictures too is in the World Championship jersey for Rabobank. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's how old is he?
he's 65.
65. Wow, he's not much older or older than you.
Right, we could have been contemporaries. Well, see, he won 3 stages of Paris-Nice in 89, 82, and 81. So that was 89 was just when I was really starting to kind of race a little bit. So his last big win, I don't know, Amstel Gold in 90.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6-time Dutch national champion, including 99, 95, 92, 91. So yeah, he was still, raced till 2000. But yeah, he was super, super good rider for sure. So
Now, I jumped down the list because I saw another name that jumped out, and not as a professional road racer, but he did enough road racing to make the list, of course. Sven Nys, 48. Sven Nys.
48, yeah, and his son's
Wow.
killing
And
it.
that's younger than both of us.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, Thibaut Nys is really coming into his own this year. I mean, he's still
yeah.
super young and he's winning
Working
a
his way
lot.
into it. So 1 week stage race winner, and certainly a stage winner, and he's a good sprinter who can climb. So that's a good combination.
Yeah, I saw Ellie Isabert was racing in that Blaze Belgian tour.
Oh, okay.
So he's like the cost racers do get in some road racing.
Yeah.
I mean, even Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert, long before they were full-time road racers, when
Yes.
they were winning winning races on the road. So yeah. And Tom Pidcock, I mean, look at him. He's doing everything mountain biking. I didn't want to forget when we're on the birthday list. I had it pulled up earlier too to try to remember about the U23 American Riley Amos that we haven't
Oh,
talked about at all. Is winning like every World Cup this year.
and
He's been just incredible.
yeah, and
Under
he's
23 racer.
going to the Olympics, even though we have a couple elite racers maybe who you'd think would get the spot, but he's one of the promising, right? The upcoming, maybe could do something this one, but certainly this is a spot for next one too. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
And we
I
say
think
Andre Van der Poel too is Mateo's dad too. So
yeah. We didn't But yeah.
So yeah, the Olympic team came out for track and mountain bike for the United States, but
Yeah,
not road
but
yet.
later this week maybe for the road or when?
Should
Coming
be
out pretty soon, right?
yeah. I think the next day or two. And Kristen Faulkner, though, importantly, got chosen for the track team pursuit team, which then makes her available for the road race.
Really?
Yeah. So the person who won the time trial
Oh,
is
okay.
not a road racer.
Taylor Nib, is that her name?
Yeah, they have to
Yeah.
pick somebody. If they're to pick someone to take her place, has to be somebody who's already in on a cycling pick. So Kristen Faulkner could race the road race because of her track selection. And
Wow.
they
That was
had
convenient.
yeah. So they have all, they have one young person who's on the fifth person. I don't have that in front of me right now, but Lily Williams and Jennifer Valente and Chloe Dygert and then Kristen Faulkner are the 4 more senior people. Then there's a younger person who got chosen as well. And there was 3 other people on the long
Megan
team.
Jestreb was on team at one time, wasn't she? She's had some
Yeah,
injuries.
yeah, I don't think she's not there now. And Lily Williams and Jennifer Valente are doing the Madison together too. And then we have one single male rider who's doing the Omnium only. I don't again don't have in front of me. I should have posted got that up there too. But yeah, it's interesting for sure that how that works because there's again a couple of younger riders who are vying for a spot on the team pursuit squad too. But Kristen, who's relatively new to the discipline, because she's a good road racer, I'm sure that helps get that spot. Oh, Lily certainly would be able to do it too if she wanted to. But yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So
well,
the other teams should be coming out soon though.
Other people sharing their birthday with Eddie Merckx. James Oram, he's 31. He's not American, but he's raced a lot. I think Carl Menzies, he's 47. They've raced in the U.S., but the American women, Lauren Kamansky, she's 39. She's got A. Merckx with birthday as well as Julie Hansen.
Yeah.
Michael Hernandez.
Yeah, I saw him.
Wow.
Yeah, he's my Facebook
Happy
page.
birthday, Michael, 27.
He's like 27, I know. He's been around for quite a while. But of course, you knew him as a junior in Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been around for a while.
Happy birthday, Michael. Wow. Luca Haynes is 22. John Borstelman. That's a rider that's raced for CS Velo, also a gravel racer. He's 33. Another Eddie Merckx birthdayer. Quite a few people. Cyclists, top cyclists.
All Abrams also.
Yeah, 51. All right.
Yeah.
Well, good. Let's figure out hopefully next week to talk before the tour starts. And we'll maybe talk a little about the national championships, which I don't know, it doesn't seem as exciting to think about that. I mean, it was for us.
Interesting to see who gets to go in their national championship jersey in the tour, because that throws it off sometimes. I was actually thinking too, so if in the outside chance, I haven't asked anybody, but I'm going to be there on the second last day and last day in Nice, and I thought the second last day is a mountaintop finish. I want to make sure I get up someplace further up the mountain and might get a ride with the team that I might have a connection with. And I thought, well, if I offered to help out, I had to make sure that I remembered who was in the national team jerseys, perhaps two from their team. So, if you'd be in a situation which you had to help somebody out and you didn't recognize that
Sean Quinn would be racing,
right? Yeah, so
in the U.S. jersey, yeah.
Yeah, so but so it does have a different look sometimes to the jersey to people that are at the tour, and people are always really proud too that they get to wear their national championship jersey in the tour.
Because the tour is the biggest stage for sure.
Right. Yeah.
All right, and it's coming up. All right, we're excited, looking forward to it, and great talking to you again about what's going on with cycling, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks, Dean.
All right, thanks, Randy.
Bye.
Bye.